All right, Faith and Cigars, we're going to try something here. This is going to be an attempt at a review of a cigar in my mobile cigar lounge, which is my farm trucks, my Suburban. And so anyway, what I'm going to review today is the Cohiba Blue, which is supposed to be a little bit more affordable Cohiba. And I've actually smoked, I've smoked, I don't know, 3 or 4 different Cohibas, and I've liked them all. I think the Royale was really good. There was a Cohiba Dot, I think it was a blue dot that came out that was fantastic, but it was a little pricey. Supposedly the Cohiba Blue is like budget friendly, and compared to what? I don't know. J.C. Newman, the Brick House cigars are fantastic, and they're really affordable. I mean, you know, compared to Cohiba Blue, I think I paid $14 for this. So maybe it's cheaper somewhere else, but I don't remember, $14. Anyway, I already cut it, unfortunately. So you don't get to watch me do that with my. Let me show you here my Cigar International cutter, which I'm very proud of this thing. I know there's better. There was a Rocky Patel one I wanted that was really expensive. So anyway, I got my travel case here. I've cut the cigar, and so now I have smoked this one in the past, but it's been a while, and I don't really remember that much about it. The Cohiba Blue is a 3-nation cigar, and so I think the wrapper is Dominican and Habano, and the dry draw kind of creamy. I mean, I don't know. I guess it tastes like, you know, what you pick up, and so anyway, that's pretty good. And then so let's light it and let's see what happens. And then because of the bounce, I'm going to stop this, and then when I have a chance where I'm stopped and I can continue on with the review, I will. But let's light it up and see what happens. Because if I did this whole review, it'd be an hour-long video, right? And who wants to watch an hour-long video? But so I'm lighting it up. Now, one of the problems that I have with smoking a cigar in the car is it doesn't burn even. I've tried a lot of things to get it to burn even, and some cigars burn better than others, but the car makes it difficult. So, but it was. Well, one thing, the smoke is real light, and that's good. It's real, no, very little spice. That's really good. Might have to give a little touch up on the light here. And I don't know how you light your cigars. Maybe you have some advice, but I mean, this is really how I do it. And then get it nice and toasted, and then, you know, we'll see how this burns in the car. I got, now that I got lit, the smoke is light, though. It's not super thick. It is thicker than, say, like a Connecticut, obviously. But, man, it tastes really good at first. Man, that's good. Now, I don't know what you pair your cigars with, but I like drink it with a soda, usually Dr. Pepper with some vanilla in it. I like that. Or Gatorade, or an energy drink. I like the Rain, the orange dreamsicle. That seems to pair well. All right, Starts out really good. It's creamy. I don't get very much spice. I didn't taste any of the nuts and, and the oats and the hay and stuff that it brings up. And I didn't get sweet either. So we'll see. Anyway, as I smoke this down, I'll come back on when I get a stopping point. All right, take care. All right, I'm going to try to make this update while I'm driving. There's going to be some bounce. But so I'm about to make my first ash. And I'll tell you, it leaves sweetness on my tongue. And so I haven't drank very much of the Dr. Pepper yet. And so, I'm telling you, I'm really enjoying this. So what I'm getting from this is, I don't know how to taste regions. And I know, like I was watching Holt Cigar, those guys do their reviews and some of their challenges and stuff on, Discovery Cigar. And those guys can taste regions. And I guess I'm not to that level yet. So maybe if you have any tips about tasting and stuff. I don't get any spice on the Retro Hell. I get creamy. And it's got a great tobacco flavor. I don't know how else to describe that. I'm just really enjoying this cigar so far. And I'm enjoying the Dominican wrapper. It's beautiful. It's veiny. It's a gorgeous wrapper. It's well constructed, and surprisingly, in the car, it's burning relatively even. So that's exciting. And I tell you, I've never had a Cohiba have an air pocket or a hole in it, which has been nice. But anyway, so I'm really enjoying this. And so endure the bounce. But I wanted to talk about John 3:16, and I go back to that so much because that is so foundational to my faith and the gospel message that God loves everybody, right? And that whosoever will come to him. Anyone who repents and believes can be saved. That God chooses to save. God does the saving. And I know that my Calvinist brothers and sisters. I don't know why that's so anathema, but God does the saving, and he chooses to save repentant believers. And so man, that is really good. I don't get that spice. When I was reading the reviews on this, some people had noted like a white pepper. I can't tell the difference between white and black pepper. Maybe you can. I guess my palate's a little redneck, but man, this is a good cigar. I get creamy, and the smoke is become much thicker and coats my palate a little bit more than say like a light, Connecticut or whatever. But the smoke isn't super heavy or thick at the same time. And again, I'm really enjoying this cigar. This is one where you can sit, relax, and enjoy a bourbon. So I know this is their economy cigar, whatever, or their budget-friendly cigar. But this is good. This will go really good. And so anyway. All right, well, I'm starting the last third of the cigar. Another thing about smoking a cigar in the car is it does burn a little faster. Sometimes, not always. It just depends on how far down you have the window rolled. I do roll my window down because I don't like to breathe the secondhand smoke. But so now that I'm down this far, it is getting a little bit spicier, not super overpowering spice by any means. It's very subtle spice. The complexity of the cigar is really picking up now at this point. I'm getting different flavor notes. It's lingering different on my palate. Again, this is a fantastic cigar. I met some people that don't like Dominican growing tobacco, and I'm not sure exactly why. But this is a really enjoyable cigar, and it is got a Dominican wrapper on it. Apparently these are handmade in the Dominican Republic, and so and maybe this is a better quality tobacco because it's it's Cohiba, and I didn't know this, but apparently there's a Cohiba from Cuba, and then there's the American New World Cohiba, and so someday I wish we could have in America, we could get Cuban cigars. I would really like to smoke one someday. Now give me your thoughts on a Cohiba, on last time I was talking about the Rocky Patel, and I know some people don't like Rocky Patels. I don't mind them. But give me your opinion. What do you think of the Cohiba Blue? What's your favorite Cohiba? And now I have a confession to make, and I really am anti-Calvinist. I really am, and I didn't used to be like this, and I'm not necessarily anti-Calvinist. I'm anti-Calvinism. I think there's a certain amount of cognitive dissonance that has to happen, and let me tell you, a litmus test for me is the test of the worldview. People believe like a Calvinist, but they live like Arminians. They live like they have true libertarian freedom, and that seems ridiculous to me. And I know that my Calvinist brothers and sisters don't like the word fatalism, but I don't know how you get around that. How do you get around fatalism? Exhaustive divine determinism, as Dr. Tim Trenton says. How do you get around that? That everything's fated. And so I understand it's ordained by God, and God is not like fate. But I just still, I mean, those words, and I just don't know how you get around that. But, I have had so many run-ins with, Dr. James White and his followers, I call them acolytes, and the acolytes of John MacArthur and others, where they're just abusive and mean. And I think, again, a test of a worldview. What does it produce? What does believers produce? Now, when I was at seminary, I met some wonderful Calvinists, and I know wonderful Calvinists, and so I don't want to say a whole cloth that all Calvinists are grumpy, but man, I've run into a share of really stubborn, aggressive, mean, dismissive, ad hominem, attacking adherents of people who follow, like James White. And the other thing I don't understand or don't like is echo chambers. Me personally, as a non-Calvinist, I've read extensively in Calvinism. I've read the scholars. I've read, a lot of Calvinist scholars and primary sources in my research, and what I find is that my Calvinist brothers, not non-Calvinists, my Calvinist brothers, they really have not read primary sources. They read about it, but they haven't read primary sources. And that is good. Definitely getting stronger and more complex as it goes. This is really good. Something that's about in the same strength and a little bit stronger is the S84, the Metallica made by Drew Estate. It's about the same, it's got a Connecticut looking wrapper, but this is not a Connecticut strength wrapper. I think it's very similar. And the flavor profile in this is changing. It's not staying the same. It had a sweetness before on my palate. Now it's leaving that straw flavor. There's a tad spice. It's rarely subtle, and it's mainly on the retrohale. Yeah, man, that is good. I just trying to taste all the flavors there. I would say this is up there, one of my, like, really, I would smoke this again. I obviously can't afford to smoke it all the time, because smoking a premium cigar is expensive. And so, but this is really enjoyable. It's still burning, for having the window open, it's still burning pretty consistent. And I like that. Again, every Cohiba I've smoked, it's never had a air pocket or, a dead spot where the burns uneven or gets a hole where where it burns down the side. That does happen from time to time. No, these are handmade, so they're not perfect. But this is really good. I really like the ash. It's got that, when I ash, it's got that cone that's really good. Now, a little game I like to play with myself is how big can I get my ash before it falls in my lap? And I think I fail more than I win. But this is really, the ash is really good. Man, that is really good. I tell you, to get the depth of the cigar, the retrohale, if you just exhale, suck it in and then blow it out, you're not going to get the neatness, the goodness of the cigar. That retrohale really makes all the difference on this cigar, and it's really good. So, going back to Calvinism, my favorite topic, it has two primary problems, in my opinion. Well, there's more than two primary problems, but for me, what's kept me from really adhering to or converting to being a Calvinist is the problem of evil. And so I know that some people say that, evil is a means that God uses. But I just don't see how a good God, a good loving God, could will evil. And we don't even have to use horrific examples. Just take like everyday problems that God ordained that. God ordained your financial problems, or God ordained you to be bad with money, or it was God's will, God's design. And I know we talk about two wills and all that stuff, but come on. That's nonsense. God, how could God say He loves you, and then He wills you to be a sinner, and then He holds you accountable for that sin? That's nonsense. That is just logically nonsensical, in my opinion. Then the other problem that I have with Calvinism is I see God as omnibenevolent, that He's all loving, that essential to His character is love, and it's love that's universal for everyone that He's created. And for me, particular salvation just doesn't make sense to me. It does not hold water for me. I don't think the Bible teaches it in the least bit, especially when we get down to limited atonement. It's popular to say that limited atonement is a doctrine looking for a verse, and I don't see. Well, then I know some people say, well, then the blood of Christ is wasted. No. The blood of Christ is only applied. The atonement is only applied to those who repent and believe. It's available to everybody. God died for everybody. Jesus died for everybody. And it is applied to those who repent and believe. And I know you could try to convince me otherwise, but it'd be really helpful if you wanted to convince me of why Calvinism is true and and Arminianism is a false doctrine is, first of all, read primary sources. And I'm not talking like C.S. Lewis. I'm saying like, primary sources of non-Calvinism. I mean, there's a whole history, starting with the Remonstrant, the 5 points of the Remonstrant, the Wesleyan movement, traditional Baptists, they call themselves provisionists. Read primary sources. Read what they write. And not just read about them what James White, R.C. Sproul, and the like all say about it, or John MacArthur. Because often what they do is they make a caricature of Calvinism or of Arminianism, and they don't really they don't really steelman the Arminian perspective. And that is a good smoke. That is really a gratifying smoke. I'm on the last little bit of it, or not the little bit, down to the last third. And if I had more time, I would smoke this to the bitter end. My friend has these caps that go on when you're way down to the little tiny nub. It really cools the smoke down. You can really smoke to the bitter end. Than I would on this cigar for sure. This is something I really enjoy. So give me your thoughts. Give me your thoughts about Cohiba, your favorite cigar. Maybe give me your thoughts on, why you believe, why you don't believe. The conversation's wide open on this channel. Man, that is good. Definitely get more notes of straw, I guess. It's a little, not earthy. It's not earthy. But it's back to having that sweet finish on my tongue. I really like that. I guess if I was to give it a rating, now I know I'm not I'm not a professional, so I would give this like a 7.5 out of 10 cigars. Very, very, very good cigar. Very satisfying. It's definitely growing in strength. To me, it's growing in strength. It's had some of that spice, but now it doesn't. I'm not picking up that spice. That one cigar, it was like the Blue Dot cigar that was a little bit more expensive. Now that was a really complex cigar. Not that this doesn't have complexity, but that was a fantastic smoke as well. The Rocky Patel that I smoked yesterday, the 20th anniversary natural, that had more spice to it than this one. This is a definitely, I don't know if smooth is the right word, but if you're looking to upgrade, if you've been smoking light looking cigars, this would be a good step up. It's not overpowering. It's not a dark Maduro that's gonna really dome you, make your neck sick. This is a good, a good cigar. And this is a cigar that you can enjoy with your friends. You could sit around, you could share and talk. You could take your time smoking it. And what I'm really impressed with is how evenly it's burned in the car. That really has impressed me a lot. It's really burning. Man, that is really good. Now, some cigars pair, with your drink. And I would say this cigar doesn't pair well with the Diet Dr. Pepper. Maybe if it was a full sugar soda, maybe that'd be different. But this doesn't pair perfectly with the. It would pair really well with a really good whiskey. My friend leads a Bible study at Southern Kentucky Distillery, and they just released their first issuing of whiskey, and man, that's a good, and that would pair really well with this. Now, since I have bariatric surgery, I really can't drink, but I would definitely try it with whiskey. I think that would pair really well. Man, that is really good. Really good. Yeah, I was saying the word complex, but now I'm not so sure as I'm smoking it, getting it down. It seems to now have the same consistent flavor. It is definitely growing in strength as I've gone, smoked it a little bit. Now, I don't think it's going to be one of those cigars that's going to make me get totally, make my head completely swim and walk funny, but it. Well, there's that peppery taste. Yeah, definitely like a pepper. It's not like a cayenne pepper. It's not that kind of spice, and it's real subtle. It's definitely leaving me with still a sweet flavor. Now, not every inhale draw is giving me that sweet flavor, but that, I think that sweetness, that creaminess has been the most consistent flavor. That and that straw, that's another thing that really comes up and flavor. Man, what a good smoke. Yeah, like I said, this would be a good step up if you're looking to go a little stronger. This one, not the Maduro version, not the I always get it confused, M81 or M84. The M81, that's a strong cigar, but the S, fade to black or shade to black, that very similar in my opinion. Very similar in strength too. Those two would be a good step up in strength. The Aganorsa Supreme Leaf, I think, is a little stronger than this one. Is another really good step up cigar that I would recommend. Well, anyway, give me your thoughts. What are some of your favorite cigars? And make sure you hit the like and subscribe button. And now there's no topic off limit to to faith and cigars. We can talk about anything from recovery, theology, Calvinism. The only thing I don't want is people coming in and just making stupid, making statements, assuming and making statements without reading primary sources. If we're going to have a conversation, then, man, let's have a conversation. But let's not make assumptions and attack each other. We can agree to disagree and be friends. And that's one thing I like about Trinity Radio. And I don't know if you've ever heard of Tim Stratton of Free Thinking Ministries. Very, very ironic type people. They're not looking just to lambast people. And I think I missed my turn. That's a good smoke. I know this is a longer video. Try to keep my videos under 15 minutes, but for this one, since it's a cigar review, I've decided to, go a little bit longer. And it's a beautiful day today in southern Indiana. wife is going to kill me. I'm supposed to be home soon. And I missed my turn. She's going to punch me. So I'm going to try to take a drink of Propel, see how that does. Because like I said, it doesn't pair. It's not pairing well with the Diet Dr. Pepper. And all right, so I'm going to take a drink here. You know, if you like cigar reviews and watching cigar videos, the guys at Holt Cigars, I really enjoy their videos. They do good stuff. Now I'm getting down to the last bit of it, or the last part of the cigar. It's really good. Again, it's definitely getting stronger and strength. I'm just letting it linger on my palate. Well, like I said, I'll give this cigar a 7.5 out of 10 cigars. I've really enjoyed this smoke, and I hope you enjoyed it. Again, hit the like and subscribe button, and I'll talk to you later. God bless. Bye-bye.